In this video, we're going to go over the details view and the lifeline view. Inside of the valve tree, we're going to start with that first. It's basically important to us to understand when you're clicking on this hierarchy here to understand the difference of clicking on the complete valve history versus an individual event. This top line is going to cover the complete valve history. Under it, you see the last event that took place. Now we had some maintenance done, it looks like, or some type of event in 2010. The next scheduled event was to be in 2011. Now if you double click on the top level, you're going to get the lifeline view because you're getting the complete history of that valve. Let's do that real quick to see the difference. And inside the lifeline you see that event that took place in 2010, and you see the scheduled event for 2011 that did not take place. And here we are, today's date in this orangish looking color, and you can see that today being past that due date, this is shown as red as being past due, should be taken to maintain at that date. It didn't take place. So in clicking on that top view, you're getting a complete overview of the valve's history in this lifeline view. And below it, you're getting some of the basic details related to the valve itself, but nothing to any individual event. To get to the actual event from the lifeline view, you can either hover over the event here and then click here for more details, or you can choose the details link over here. Either one will take you to the same results. But to also get to that, you would click on the actual event here instead of the overall life of the valve. And by double clicking this, it also takes you directly to the details view from within the valve tree hierarchy. So let's double click that. And now you're seeing the actual detail view of a valve. Now there's one more way we can get to it, so let's go to do that real quick and then we'll come back and go over what's on this details page. So that's how you do everything from within the valve tree. If we were in a repair list, you'd have a couple of similar options. So on this individual valve here, we could click the lifeline view and get the complete same overall view of the valve as we saw before. The lifeline at the top showing the one instance here, one event, as well as what was due in today's date. So that's the exact same thing we saw. But in order to get to the details view from this page, we just click this little button here and display the detail form. Takes you straight to the detail grid for that one valve on that event. Okay. So now that we're in here, let's look at what kind of information we can gather by looking at the detail view. This is very similar to what ValveKeep program that we use in the shop and in the field looks like, as we have different tabs of information where we complete as we go through the different testing or repair cycle. So we start off with the basic order information relating to this instance of this event, and including the sales order number, customer's PO number, contact, and those kind of things. At the bottom we have some details like this is pickup details, shipped to if it was shipped, any order comments or any special cleaning instructions that had to be applicable to this valve. Under general, we have some more general information with two different distinguishing fields, one being as received and one being as shipped. Now these have common UI type of interfaces so that you can open and expand these as needed. They should be expanded by default. But if you have a smaller screen, if you're working off this through an iPad or an iPhone or something, you have the ability to adjust as you need to. As received being obviously the condition the valve came in under. Any type of nameplate data that was on the valve when it came in, any previous repairs and those kind of things are all indicated under the as received versus the as shipped. Sometimes maybe we reset a pressure, you'll see a set pressure as received be different than what it was as shipped because we changed set pressures or so. So when looking at these, understand the distinction between these two areas, and then you can look through all the details of what's covered in that area. Verification of hydrostamp, device types, and that thing. Under configuration, you talk again as received versus as shipped, but it's more in the configuration of the valve. What's the model number, the area, the orifice size, as you can see, the materials, if it has a bellows or not, different springs that are required. As shipped would show the same thing. So again, if it was something that had changed, you see a variation down here. Otherwise, it's going to go pretty much out the same way. We do have some basic information down here. This is a ferrous that was set at 20 pounds with this capacity, and there's no additional comments. Otherwise, you can see them there. Under nameplate, you'll see again the manufacturer's nameplate and any previous repair, as well as what went out as shipped. So that'd be current nameplate and stuff. The work that was requested, if it was a standard repair, maybe it was a test with repair on fail. Could be, like I said, a reset on some set pressure. All that information would be in here, again with more comments and stuff carrying through. And then the next thing, we're going to look at parts and dimensions. This is very important because you can see the detail that goes into each repair with the measurements being taken when we get the part. And then we check it against the manufacturer's information that's provided to us, which isn't shown because it's something that's exclusive to GE. But then we can see the as shipped condition. So if there was any kind of machining or whatever, you might see a variance in different sizes here. This one, I don't see that happening in any of these examples, but you may see that where a part came in at one, it needed to be machined, and you'll see a little bit different thickness here, as long as it still was within tolerance of the engineering specifications. So that shows up under parts. Then you've got the final test information showing the actual tests that were conducted, the leakage, back pressure test if need be, reseating, the final test pressure average will show in here, and any additional comments and stuff at the bottom there as well. It actually does the calculations for the different API that's applied to make sure it's within tolerance and if it passed. Then you've got the quality control segment showing each and everything that was applied through quality control, all testing, verifications, VR stamp checked, final QC, the other QC, coordinator was notified, ready to go. Everything related to the valve will be here. And then you can actually do a side-by-side tab which will show you the as received versus as shipped for each one of the different areas. So this is the kind of data you'll find within the details portion of the ValveKeep database. And it's important to note what's here because these are also the types of fields you'll be looking at when trying to adjust your grids. So knowing that we capture this information as tag number, and this information is serial number, this information is unit, etc., lets you know which labels or which fields you need to add to your grid to get this data into a grid format instead. So that's your details area as well as your Lifeline view, which you can always go back to here. Inside of this, even though I showed you the parts, we can go into more detail with parts, images, and generics, but I'll go over that in detail in a separate video. So that's the detail view and the Lifeline view.